LeBron goes to Philly, it takes him totally out the GOAT debate.
Okay.
Why
So,
that?
question: does that change for any team he goes to, or no?
Well, no player that we consider that's been in the GOAT debate has been a fourth option.
Paul Pierce certainly didn't mince his words, did he? He delivered a statement that could seriously impact LeBron James' GOAT case if this rumored move actually happens. According to Pierce, LeBron would no longer be the centerpiece of a championship team but instead take on a secondary role, something he believes no legitimate GOAT candidate has ever embraced. For Pierce, the debate isn't simply about collecting more championships, it's about the path taken to earn them. But does his argument hold up? Could this decision truly become one of the defining moments that shapes LeBron's basketball legacy?
Like Jordan, even when he went to the Wizards, was still the first option.
Sure.
Kareem was second option with Magic.
Yeah.
Like when we start having these debates about the GOAT, and we say, well, Philly won a championship, but he was fourth option. He has 5 rings, but 4.
Pierce draws a clear line between all-time greats and everyone else. He points to icons like Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Magic Johnson, players who always carried the spotlight and never accepted a secondary role. His argument isn't just an opinion, it's a standard he believes every true GOAT candidate should meet. In his view, winning another championship as a fourth option may increase the ring count, but would it really strengthen LeBron's place in the GOAT conversation? Or would it reveal a difficult reality about the direction of his career in its final chapters?
So it'll do something to his legacy because none of these guys have never settled for less than first or second fiddle.
Sure.
This is the GOAT debate we're talking about. Russell was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Kareem was 1 or 2. Magic was 1 or 2.
They never accepted anything less than being the first or second option on their teams. That's the heart of Pierce's argument. He isn't simply taking a shot at LeBron, he's outlining what he believes every true GOAT should represent, using basketball's greatest legends as the benchmark. To him, the conversation goes far beyond numbers and championships. It's about leadership, competitiveness, and carrying a team when it matters most. If LeBron continues chasing more titles in a reduced role, could that decision ultimately hurt the legacy he's worked so hard to create? The GOAT debate has never been more intense.
He had Bob Myers on, who is he's like the president of basketball ops or whatever. He's got a big job.
Yeah, Philadelphia
with the Sixers, a team that's that's pursuing LeBron. And he had Bob Myers on the show actually pitching the Sixers.
The context behind all of this is impossible to ignore. A former NBA executive publicly recruiting LeBron on a podcast? That's something fans rarely see. It highlights not only the eagerness to bring him in but also how his future has become a massive public storyline. This is no longer just about where a superstar signs. It's become one of the biggest media spectacles in basketball. And that raises an interesting question. Is Rich Paul carefully managing the narrative to keep LeBron at the center of every headline, or has the attention simply taken on a life of its own?
Entire circus to keep LeBron in the spotlight?
It's interesting, it's funny, but I mean, when you got a guy like LeBron James on the market and you're trying to, you can turn around or help change your organization to automatically put you in contention, you got to do these things, right? Yeah. So
the message seems clear. Stay in the headlines and keep the conversation alive. It suggests that LeBron's free agency has become more than a basketball decision. It's also a carefully managed media campaign. Every rumor, appearance, and discussion fuels social media engagement and keeps his name trending. Many see Rich Paul as a master strategist who knows exactly how to control the narrative. But does turning every move into a viral moment strengthen LeBron's brand at the expense of his legacy? And as the speculation grows, one question continues to surface. Are these decisions driven more by attention and alliances than by the pursuit of another championship?
Players is usually not guys that actually run the organization in public, actually making the case as to why they should sign a guy. But besides that,
this isn't the way NBA business is typically handled. Seeing a team executive publicly recruit a superstar on a podcast is extremely rare, underscoring just how much attention LeBron commands across the league. It adds another layer of drama to his free agency while also revealing how eager some franchises are to bring him in. But the situation raises an interesting question. Does such public recruiting reinforce LeBron's influence, or does it make him look more like a prized asset being openly pursued by every interested team? The debate only becomes more compelling.
LeBron goes to Philly, it takes him totally out the GOAT debate.
Okay.
Why
So,
that?
question: does that change for any team he goes to, or no?
The central point returns with even greater emphasis. No matter how talented Philadelphia's roster may be, Pierce argues that LeBron stepping into a fourth option role would seriously damage his GOAT case. In his view, this debate isn't about how successful the team becomes. It's about where LeBron ranks alongside basketball's greatest legends. Chasing one more championship under those circumstances, he believes, could ultimately weaken the legacy LeBron has spent decades building. But is Pierce judging him too harshly, or is he simply applying the same standard he believes every all-time great should meet?
Like, when we start having these debates about the GOAT, and we say, well, Philly won a championship, but he was fourth option. He has 5 rings, but fifth option. So it'll do something to his
Pierce remains firm in his stance. In his opinion, winning a championship as a fourth or even fifth option carries far less weight when discussing the GOAT debate. For him, the conversation has never been about collecting the most rings. It's about the influence a player has in earning those championships. That viewpoint completely changes how LeBron's potential late career accomplishments are judged. So the real question becomes, would taking on a smaller role truly leave a mark against his legacy? Or is it simply the natural progression of an aging superstar adapting to a new stage of his career?
Good point by Paul. No one's really talking about that. I think we're just giving LeBron James a pass by him being 42 years old and then just trying to have fun and win a championship. But realistically, even Michael Jordan going to the Wizards, he was still the first option. Yeah, they didn't do nothing in Washington.
The co-host backs Pierce's perspective, arguing that the media often gives LeBron a pass because of his age. He points out that even in the later stages of his career, Michael Jordan never stopped being the unquestioned leader on his teams. The discussion suggests there may be a double standard, where choices accepted from LeBron would draw far harsher criticism if made by other superstars. That raises a bigger question. Is the basketball world reluctant to hold LeBron to the same standard as everyone else? Or is Pierce simply demanding more from a player many consider one of the greatest ever?
Technically, the account, he'll have 5 championships if he wins, but being in Philly, being a third or fourth option, that could hurt him a little bit. So I get what Paul Pierce is saying. Respect to the truth.
This discussion goes beyond simply adding another championship to the resume. It's about the significance of that title and the role played in earning it. The co-host argues that if LeBron were to win a ring without being a major contributor, it could actually weaken his position in the GOAT conversation. It's a fascinating perspective, one that suggests another championship might do more harm than good for his legacy. So the question becomes, does every ring carry the same value, or does the player's impact ultimately determine how history remembers it?
Consider a GOAT themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you, but
you understand? Magic was considered like a GOAT
For sure.
to Kareem.
Yeah. I mean, we think Magic is one of the greatest players, top 5.
Yeah, and think about, who do we talk about? If we put GOAT, who's been
Pierce stands firmly by his position. In his view, a true GOAT doesn't willingly step into a supporting role unless it's alongside another universally recognized all-time legend. His argument goes beyond individual talent. It's about where a player ranks in the hierarchy of basketball's greatest icons. He points to historic partnerships between legendary players as examples of that rare exception. But would sharing the spotlight with stars like Embiid, Maxey, or Brown carry the same weight for LeBron? Or would such a move be seen as an effort to extend his championship window at the risk of reshaping how his legacy is remembered?
For second option, and he wins that championship, he's ring chasing. He's a fraud.
I don't think it gives him points, but I don't think it makes him lose points on that.
I think it makes him lose points. It really does. Because now the argument is over.
So you saying you don't look him in the same breath as a Kareem and a Magic?
This is where the debate reaches its most intense point. The panel is united in its opinion that if LeBron pursues another championship as a third or fourth option, it won't strengthen his GOAT resume. Instead, they argue it could become a major criticism of his legacy. From their perspective, such a move isn't viewed as a natural evolution late in a player's career but as a strategic step backward that weakens his standing among basketball's greatest icons. Could chasing one more title in a reduced role ultimately solidify his place below the legends at the top of the GOAT conversation?
First or second fiddle.
Sure.
Like, this is the GOAT debate we're talking about. Russell was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Kareem was 1 or 2. Magic was 1 or 2. Whole career. Jordan's never been a second option.
This is where the debate reaches its most intense point. The panel is united in its opinion that if LeBron pursues another championship as a third or fourth option, it won't strengthen his GOAT resume. Instead, they argue it could become a major criticism of his legacy. From their perspective, such a move isn't viewed as a natural evolution late in a player's career but as a strategic step backward that weakens his standing among basketball's greatest icons. Could chasing one more title in a reduced role ultimately solidify his place below the legends at the top of the GOAT conversation?
I'm the first option, and that's no debate.
There's gotta be an exception for a guy in year 24.
No, like let's not move the goalposts.
I'm not saying it
We
changes.
not do that.
I'm not saying it
Can
gives
we
him
not do
GOAT.
that? But like
I don't think it takes away though. I think it just keeps it where it's at.
argument, like the
Pierce refuses to back away from his position, repeating what he sees as the defining rule of every true GOAT. In his view, the greatest players are always the first or second option on their teams, without exception. For him, the conversation extends far beyond winning championships. It's about leading a franchise, setting the standard, and defining an entire era of basketball. If LeBron chooses a different path, Pierce believes he would be doing something no player in the GOAT discussion has ever done. But is this a fair way to judge a legend's legacy? Or is it simply an old argument from a longtime rival? One thing is certain, the media has plenty to say about it.
He's the first option at 40 on a team that won like 40 games.
where? What team?
The Wizards. They were like a 500
It doesn't
team
matter. He was
barely.
still first
They
option.
weren't a championship.
So,
level
again,
team.
this is what I
He
would
was still the first option.
This is what I'm saying.
He said, "I don't care where I go."
The panel expects the predictable reaction. Many people will simply label Paul Pierce as a hater. But they argue that dismissing his opinion because of their history doesn't automatically make his point invalid. It's easy to ignore criticism when it comes from a longtime rival, yet that doesn't necessarily mean the argument lacks merit. This raises a bigger question. Is the media reluctant to challenge LeBron's narrative, or is Pierce voicing an uncomfortable perspective that others are unwilling to express? The debate continues to divide fans and analysts alike.
GOAT debate. When you start really dissecting it, that's going to be like a
for sure.
asterisk
I think that's for
in the
more
argument.
Yeah, in other words, LeBron needs a stat pattern. All he has is his stats to fall back on. But when you really look into the GOAT debate, he stands no chance.
The discussion draws a direct comparison between LeBron's current situation and Michael Jordan's final seasons. Even at 40 years old with the Wizards, Jordan insisted on remaining the team's primary option and never stepped away from the spotlight. Pierce argues that this reflects a different competitive mindset, one built on leading from the front regardless of the circumstances. He suggests that LeBron's rumored willingness to accept a reduced role stands in sharp contrast to that approach. But is comparing the two legends at different stages of their careers truly fair, or does it reveal a deeper weakness in LeBron's GOAT case? That's the question continuing to fuel the debate.
It's a hater, but you got to factor that in as well as far as LeBron being the GOAT. Even though he's not the GOAT over Michael Jordan, that's a good argument to have, but the media, they're going to shy away from this and call Paul Pierce a hater.
Pierce refuses to shift the standard. His message is simple: don't move the goalposts. In his view, the criteria for the GOAT debate should remain the same, regardless of a player's age, longevity, or years in the league. He argues that there shouldn't be special exceptions simply because LeBron is entering the later stages of his career. For Pierce, this isn't about taking credit away from what LeBron has already accomplished. It's about not adding to his legacy based on achievements earned in a significantly reduced role. But does that unwavering standard make Pierce a traditionalist protecting the integrity of the GOAT debate? Or is he being unnecessarily critical of a player extending his career at an elite level?